I've always hated New Year's resolutions. I grew up in a heavily Catholic area of Wisconsin, so I generally associated New Year's with giving up something you didn't really want in the first place for Lent, or making a resolution that was absolutely bound to fail. Our society has based so much importance on these New Year's resolutions that I think it's time to abolish the phrase altogether. By using the term resolution, we're not only adding so much extra pressure to an already stressful time, but we're also setting ourselves up for failure because we know that resolutions just aren't meant to stick. Maybe on the surface we think that going to the gym 5 days a week is going to work for the whole 12 months. But deep down, we know. Honestly, the most we're actually committing to is 30 days, max. Okay, I'm done with these. So, if I'm not talking about how to achieve your New Year's resolutions, what am I here to talk about? Well, resolutions are out, but habits are in. So if you're emotionally attached to your resolution this year, that's fine, but I'm going to be using the terms interchangeably. Just like my philosophy in health and wellness, I'm pretty much not interested in making habits that aren't sustainable. If you've done any research on forming habits, you've probably come across one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits by James Clear, and his work is really going to be the basis for our learning today. James talks about 5 common mistakes that cause new habits to fail. And I wanted to go through them with y'all with our lens of health and wellness to shed some light on the right way to go about making healthy habits. So let's dive right in. Number 1, we love to try and change everything at once. Let me give an example. Probably the most common resolution or habit, goal I hear is I want to lose 20 pounds. But what goes into losing 20 pounds? Exercising more, eating less, sleeping more, drinking less, avoiding junk food, drinking more water. I mean, I just gave you 6 individual resolutions right there that all contribute to weight loss. When we make a resolution, we need to pick one thing that is actually sustainable for us and be content that over time we can expand that resolution, or that resolution will automatically build on itself in an exponential manner. For people like me who have an all-in mentality, this is so hard. But as soon as I remind myself that a small resolution that is sustained for the rest of my life will be more impactful than a big resolution that I can only sustain for 2 weeks, I tend to calm down. Number 2, we love trying to make a habit that is too big. James says new habits should be non-threatening. Start with a behavior that is so small it seems easy and reasonable to do it every day. I see this all the time in Lightning Fitness program. People who haven't been working out for years or who have never exercised email me saying that they want to do the 60-minute program 5 days a week and end up falling off the wagon after 3 days. If you're new to working out and you have the option between a 30-minute program and a 60-minute program, pick the shorter one. Pick the one that is less intimidating and thus more likely to accomplish. Again, there's no point in making big habits that aren't sustainable. I'd rather you do 10 minutes of exercise a day for the rest of your life than try to do 60 minutes a day and burn out after a week. When creating new habits, we have to make it so easy it's almost laughable. Like, I'm going to have a drink of water right when I wake up, every morning. Because doing that day after day after day could lead to a sustainable habit of drinking more water throughout the day. I know, it sounds so stupid, but most people don't have the willpower to start a habit much tougher than that. Number 3, we love seeking a result, not a ritual. This is one of my favorite ones. Said another way, we focus on goals rather than behaviors. And said another way, we focus on losing weight rather than enjoying exercise. Professors from MIT, Carnegie Mellon, and University of Chicago came together to do a study that measured how extrinsic rewards influenced individual performance. They asked the question, do higher incentives lead to better performance? And the answer in 8 out of 9 tasks was no. They found that the most important factor in maintaining a habit is buy-in from yourself. It's not enough to be rewarded by the outcome. You have to enjoy the process. This is hard because so many people in my life have said to me, I'm just never going to be the type of person who likes exercising. And this kind of fixed mindset is a problem for so many reasons that we can't get into right now, but it's also damning when it comes to finding sustainable fitness. In order to make a new habit stick, we need to find a way to make the process enjoyable, not just the outcome of losing 20 pounds. This enjoyment may be found in the type of exercise you're doing, it may be found in the time of day you do it, or the duration, or enjoyment may be found in group classes, like our community workout we do on YouTube Live every Saturday. I know your brain is telling you otherwise, but we will never find as much joy in the outcomes as we do in the process. I guarantee it. Number 4, we don't change our environment. What's that Einstein quote? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. People always talk about discipline and willpower, but those things are finite. The real power in habit making comes from changing your environment. If you don't want to eat unhealthy foods, don't keep unhealthy foods in the house. If you want to work out, pick a gym that is on the way home from work and isn't out of the way. Said another way, if you want to work out, invest in home equipment that makes working out easy. If you want to cut back on drinking, don't surround yourself with alcohol in the house and friends who are always drinking. It is not about discipline. It's about not having to make the decision between eating the chips or not because you don't keep them in the house. Don't get me wrong, of course, you can just go down the street and get a bag of chips if you really want. That's fine. Jared and I went to Levain last night because we really wanted a cookie, but that's something that we do once in a blue moon versus every night if we just kept them in the house. And finally, number 5, we love to assume that small changes don't add up, that anything as easy as doing 1 push-up a day or reading 1 page before bed could never amount to anything useful. But it's not about the 1 push-up or the 1 page. It's about establishing behaviors that are actually doable. Because 1 push-up after a few weeks turns into 5 push-ups, and 5 push-ups turns into 20 push-ups because you established a behavior incrementally instead of jumping all in. This change needs to happen when you feel most motivated to change. And that means that you might need to set this video aside for a second because the holidays or this pandemic might just not be the right time to put a new habit into motion. Again, New Year's is made up. There's absolutely nothing that says that this is the only time of year where positive changes can be made. It's based on you. Lastly, we need to remember that shame is going to be your enemy in forming a new habit. You're going to slip up from time to time. The slip isn't important. The important part is how you handle the slip. Brené Brown says, shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing we are flawed and therefore unworthy of acceptance and belonging. And I think she would also say unworthy of the habits we are trying to form. So many of us shame ourselves for our habit slip-ups. We see it in binge eating, we see it when we skip a day at the gym, and the number 1 thing we need to remember is to not let shame keep us from moving forward. Whenever my athletes miss a day in Lightning Fitness Program, they ask me if they should go back and do the workout, but I always say to just move forward. It is not important that you miss the workout today. It's important you don't miss the workout tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already checked out Atomic Habits, I will link it in the description below. It is truly one of my favorite nonfiction books, and you should definitely check it out. Don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment below with what habit you're trying to form, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern for our YouTube Live community workout. Bye.